Thanks for sitting for an interview. Why don't we start with what's your name and what do you currently work on?
So my name is Joe Savona. I work at Facebook on a framework called Relay, which is a data fetching framework for React.
How long have you been involved with React?
I've probably been using React for, I think, close to 2 years, maybe a little bit less. I actually started using React as a side project, and then kind of incorporated it at my previous company, and then moved to Facebook. Yeah.
You spoke today. What was your talk on?
So my talk today was about Relay. Relay is a data fetching framework for React, and it basically allows the client application to drive the data fetching process using GraphQL, which we also talked about. And it just makes it a lot easier for application developers to kind of manage the data fetching and do things in a more declarative manner.
It's interesting. So as React sort of expands and the ecosystem grows, how is GraphQL and Relay going to be sort of managed from a sort of a release perspective, with React sort of the core and then these sort of extra sort of features? What's the vision for managing all those as a single stack?
Yeah, well, I mean, we definitely do kind of view them as related projects, and obviously, Relay is dependent upon GraphQL and it ties into React. I think we kind of want to keep these things decoupled. I mean, GraphQL, for example, provides a lot of value outside of React for native development with iOS or Android, even with native code. So GraphQL is a really valuable tool on its own. Relay kind of can add even more value to that. And again, React is powerful whether you're using GraphQL and Relay or not. So I think we kind of see them as working really well together to allow like a really powerful development experience, but also being individually kind of, especially with GraphQL and React, being individually useful tools. And we hope the ideas from Relay will also help others develop different frameworks or things like that for, just the ideas are, I think, useful on their own as well.
I understand that Facebook likes to have things working in production before they release them in open source. So as you release more of these into the open source community, how do you handle the pressures for sort of, say, building for Facebook needs and then building something that might be more general for web development as a whole?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And obviously we have like a lot of experience with this from React. And it'll be interesting to see, how the process goes with Relay. But I mean, in general, we do have a wide variety of applications that we're building internally. And so that does give us a fair amount of coverage for different use cases that might come up. But, obviously, just in practice, I don't think we've really seen any cases where there's a really serious conflict between open source needs and internal needs. There's other things we can do, like provide injection points to allow application developers to customize things. But yeah, in general, I think it just tends to work out. Like the interests are typically pretty aligned.
Talking to a lot of people here when learning React and working with React is sort of giving them insights into software development and engineering and how they go about building software. Is there anything that really stands out that React has sort of brought to your perspectives on software development?
Yeah, I mean, I think I might echo a couple other speakers here, but I hadn't really looked at functional programming much before using React, and definitely using React has completely opened my eyes to a lot of different approaches. Functional reactive programming. I've started learning a couple different languages, just experimenting and just learning ideas from those other languages and other approaches. So yeah, really, just functional programming declarative APIs are really, really powerful approaches, and that's something that I learned from React.
Last question. What do you see in the future of JavaScript and React, specifically in the next couple of years?
Probably a lot more focus on really building fluid interfaces. So, really, really smooth gesture handling and interactions and animations, and basically making it easier to develop those types of really, really smooth experiences. It's really hard to get those things right now. And so just kind of adapting the language and the runtimes to make it easier to develop those really high performance applications.
All right. Thank you very much.